I heard the alarm.
Stack 11.
I called 911.
Go ahead.
It looked like it started on the second floor. I stepped outside and saw the flames.
And I heard an explosion, and when I turned around, I heard a scream, and then I saw fire.
There was something on one of the porches that was like magnesium.
The guy above him smokes his own meats, and I guess that's somehow how the fire started.
It was pretty loud. The alarm started going off after that.
You think it's actually out?
The smoke went over that far, or is that shadows that I'm seeing?
No, that's smoke. It was on a balcony just behind the.
So it's on that side of the building then?
Yeah, it's on the other side, yeah.
It was calmed down and now it's back up again.
We're right here on the bottom floor.
The fire just grew rapidly.
This is Jasmine. She's never seen a fire before.
Control status. Copy, thank you.
I hope it doesn't get worse.
That's probably 99% contained.
I'm just kind of concerned. I have a lot of friends that like live here and go to school with me, so I just want to make sure like everyone's okay.
Do you think they have another team on the other side? It's charred. They haven't taken the ladder down either.
I have no idea how it got started.
I think it's been a bad week for Aurora.
Hello there! Welcome, welcome!
Welcome to one of the most bizarre places in Denver on New Year's Eve.
Is it Happy New Year or Happy New Hair?
On my own.
Here we go.
Voice of breath on wine mud.
We started at the ice rink on Arapahoe, where boys tried to impress girls, and a group of gaggling gals tried to impress the guys.
And I was like, hi.
The funny thing about girls is that when it gets this cold, they stop speaking English. And they start speaking E. You hear that? Yeah, he sure did. And he'll take the heat, thank you.
I don't cry when I get sad. And I don't yell when I get mad. When I get punched, I don't swing back. I don't love, ain't love back.
Around the time we got sick of seeing people fall faster than the New Year's ball, we began to wonder.
I'm very cold, but I know it's very cold, but I don't know how cold.
We began to wonder what that kid wondered.
I'd say right now it's 10 below zero.
Well, probably not that bad, but it sure didn't feel like it.
New Year's keeps you warm. You gotta have some brandy in here, though.
Brandy or coffee, either would be fine in a single-digit world.
You know, it's not too bad.
It's when you can't count the fingers on your hand when you realize you've got a problem.
They're not falling off yet, you know. They're still finger colored. They're not purple or nothing.
So let the countdown begin. We'll start at 2,
2, 0, 1, 3, woo!
I'm hitting that old dusty trail.
And then get instantly confused.
Rail.
Bring in the new year! 213! Woo!
Brown to puff for aeroplanes. We was thinking about going seeing Batman that night, but we didn't go.
That was a little girl that the cop was carrying out.
Is that her mom?
I think so, yeah.
I know that she is in God's arms.
I had a cousin that was here that 2 of her friends got killed.
The part that I get choked up on is just watching her get carried out.
Yeah, it's still fresh, man. I mean, every day I pass by here, it's the same thing, man.
I'm sure all of this has ushered every one of these victims in the arms of God.
You were there for a reason. You were there to help people, you know?
Yeah.
You were able to help get people out.
My prayers go out to all of these people who lost family members, man. You know, it's gotta be hard. It's gotta be hard, man.
I pray for the survivors and the difficult time they must be going through. You'll always be with us.
And there's so many people that come home from all over to show their support, you know?
Look at all the beautiful verses that are out here. They're just fantastic.
Dear God, we just ask you to watch over these families and just let them know that you're there for them. In Jesus' name, amen.
It just doesn't even seem real.
I've never seen fire move so fast.
It danced with the wind
I thought the propane tank was gonna go.
and took a hard spill outside the home of Lori Miller's grandma.
I don't know, Grandma. Won't be seeing you looking through the windows at us no more.
Oh, I tell you, it was a bad deal. Any way you look at it, it was bad.
Bad doesn't begin to describe it.
We could hear all the ammunition going on.
Oh, yeah?
And that's when we were out there, I don't think it's safe! It smelled like gunpowder so much, and we could hear shells going off. I'm like, okay, you don't know if it's gonna go ping, 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 ping this way.
The horses out back hoofed it
If they would have been under the loafing shed, they would have been gone.
just as fast as Florence and her family evacuated.
Oh, there comes a plane over. He's probably going to take a picture.
No matter what angle you look at it, you'll never know what was truly lost.
You lived here a long time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. We probably was here for better than 70 years here.
70 years, jeez.
7 decades worth of memories were made here. Weddings happened,
Grandma's rings are in there somewhere.
and loved ones were lost.
I tell you, if he would have been here and seen what, he just would have passed out. It would have just killed him. Because he couldn't have took it.
It's hard to say goodbye to something that is already gone.
But that wire was down, we knew it was live, so we tried to go through there and the posts were burning.
Now it's about holding on to what is left. Family.
I don't know, it was something.
With photojournalist in Yuma.
Oh man, it was unbelievable.
This is Kevin Torres, 9 News.
I think it's our more important one in the last 30 years.
I think we're getting a bigger divide between rich and poor people.
There's a lot of money out on the sidelines waiting to be spent. I think everybody's holding back till after the election.
I think the Republicans have kind of gone off the deep end. I'd like to see Barack Obama win the election in November.
It is serious.
We finally got bin Laden, you know, since Obama's been president. I served my country for 6 years. He's definitely tapped into a different crowd, a different market.
We're circling the drain in this country. Economically speaking, this country's on the skids and it's heading downhill fast.
You can't please everybody.
What is it? Obamacare, thank you. Obamacare, I think everybody's a little nervous with that.
You got to give tax cuts because if we don't, they don't create jobs, and it's jobs that we need. Jobs are what creates taxes.
54-24.
It's all politics, back and forth, the left, the right, the this, the that.
Mitt Romney, that's why I like him, because I think that he could maybe build a coalition across the aisle and actually come up with something that might work.
And I think everybody's fed up with what's going on.
At least in Denver, things are pretty good, and they're looking like they're going to continue to improve.
I think we're going to have a new president. Change is good, we need it.
I know what I want in the next election, but I'm not sure anybody's going to get what they want in the next election.
Bye guys, you have a really good night.
Down on the 16th Street Mall.
This particular block and area of Denver is the cornerstone of Denver.
You'll find a place where anybody can be king.
Mostly during the day, there's a whole bunch of people playing chess.
And they're all talking about the kingdom.
I got laid off from a company I'd worked for several years due to downsizing.
We're beggars, and it hurts.
Be careful. Where we have now, where 20% of people are either out of work or only have part-time jobs.
If life was a game of chess.
Check. Oh!
Many of these people would be the pieces.
Damn it. I was lucky that was there.
Already taken off the game board.
Right now, it's very humiliating and very hard.
You got the unemployed economy without anything to do battle with.
The gap between the rich and the poor is growing ever wider.
But here,
it's the best peaceful war I know.
Even if it's for just a short time.
I go there, you go there, I go there, you go there.
They are not the pawns, they are the masters.
When you see people come down here and play chess and they're on a common ground, And it shows how intellectual a lot of the people are.
There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of strategies, man.
You can't just sit there and look at those pieces and decide in 1 or 2 minutes how you're going to move.
Gotta take that.
If life was a game of chess,
If you're 11 moves ahead, you're a world champion.
they say someone's been making the wrong moves.
Ooh, bad move, dog. You should take that back.
They didn't just make those wrong moves on one game. They made it on several years of playing chess.
That when illegal aliens come to this country, a lot of times they work and work and work, and they send their money back to their country, and that's not cool.
You need me here, and instead, I'm unemployed.
And if you ask these Knights by Night,
we're running out of pieces.
The answer may be found right here.
Is you put everybody back to work, and then the economy's fine.
Maybe allowing more people down on the 16th Street Mall
When I first came here, I made more money.
to declare
checkmate.
I can't front though. You got some skills though.
With photojournalist
I'll give it to you.
Nelson Garcia.
Who got next?
9 News.
Who's ready to hit? Let's do it.
When kids play, kids like 7-year-old Dylan Hearn,
You want to get into the ball and swing hard.
coaches watch their mechanics.
Come on up. There you go.
They watch their stance.
We come to the baseball and we get nice and wide.
Now coaches like Jeff Pagatti
That a kid.
have to watch for concussions.
One is bad enough, but multiple concussions really can be problematic long term.
2 concussions and a scar right here.
7-year-old Dylan Hearn suffered his first concussion playing football.
I think people don't take it as seriously as they probably need to.
His mother Alex says it's definitely not kids play.
It hurts.
We took him to the ER.
A lot of sick and dizzy. Sometimes you have blackouts.
Can't really watch TV, they can't play video games, they can't read, they can't do homework.
Then you can't play baseball.
Keep moving those feet right to the ball.
But in the old days, Pagatti says concussion was rarely part of the discussion when a kid got hurt.
Ultimately, it was the player that told us when they were good enough, and the player would come back usually probably too early.
Jake will continue to inspire us.
That's what happened to Jake Snakenberg. That's why there's a law named after the high school football player who died in 2004.
We just want to rotate, keep our feet there. There you go.
The law requires all coaches to undergo concussion training.
When there's an accident or when there's an injury on the field, we're usually the first to arrive.
An online program was recently developed to make sure it's accessible to everyone.
Well, anyone that has kids know that kids hit their heads all the time, you know, they get hurt all the time, but there are certain things you have to look for.
What we're looking for are things like confusion. We're looking for things like headaches, dizziness, nausea, the inability to focus.
If they look harder, then they can see it and make sure you're okay.
There you go.
So when 7-year-old Dylan Hearn plays,
we don't just coach, we actually teach life lessons.
He can be safe.
If these kids understand what kind of symptoms to look for themselves, that promotes more health and safety across the board.
Having the coaches having to do that will also help inform the parents as well.
All right, let's pick them up, guys.
With photojournalist Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
Keep moving, you're fighting the clock today.
In this gym at the Community College of Aurora,
Good.
you'll find Jack Howard
Don't save your cardio exercises until last.
and Patrick Sheets running a rigorous training program. But out of all the pain and sweat, there's no weight that can compare to the weight Howard had to endure.
Ended up in prison, doing time.
Howard grew up in 5 Points and Park Hill, dealing drugs until he found himself serving 12 years for cocaine possession.
And that's when I just decided I was just like, enough is enough.
He came to the Community College of Aurora after his release.
What's your target?
To enroll in the fitness training program run by Dan Agresti.
Absolutely believe everybody needs a second chance. How could I judge him? Look what he's doing. He's in school.
And that's when
I got you, Justin, go ahead.
he met Sheets.
Met Patrick in class. You know, I guess he saw a look on my face, how nervous I was and how confused I looked and everything. So
I could tell that he was having trouble, and I don't like walking away from situations like that without stepping in and trying to offer some help.
Sheets is a former Army captain.
I went to West Point for college.
He grew up in a small town in Indiana, a world away from Howard and his problems.
I saw them as two students helping each other get through class. And then that developed into a close friendship, which is unlikely because of their backgrounds.
Close friends.
He's a good dancer.
Oh, Lord.
Best friends.
I try to dance to Michael Jackson songs, and Jack says I can't.
So he's the dancer.
5 Points meets West Point.
I would have never imagined me being a friend of a person from a small town in Indiana, but at the same time, I can't judge him from where he's from, you know.
It's not that bad, really.
Well, take me home with you one time. I want to visit.
It's the perfect team.
And as they help others, Sheets helps Howard stay the course.
He reminds me of the people that I need in my circle.
There you go.
So I don't go back into my old ways.
Now.
Okay, how about some more jump rope?
Oh, my legs can handle jump rope right now.
The Army captain and convicted felon are together training.
That's a half mile.
Of all people. Police Academy cadets.
Oh, really?
It is pretty ironic, isn't it?
Like they said at the parole officer, this is a very unusual situation.
It is shocking, but at the same time, I mean, you could just see from his character that, you know, he's probably come a long, long way.
Yeah.
Friends from two different worlds.
1 minute. 1 minute. And counting. Get after it.
Working out.
I got you, buddy.
Take a minute, grab some water, Gatorade.
Calling in sick that day.
With photojournalist.
Look at your sheet, see what you accomplished today.
Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
Big improvement, big improvement.
Go to your happy place. You guys are at almost 30 seconds.
Boy, you really did pack it good.
Brianna Persinger prepares to take a trip.
Yesterday I started loading it all up.
She thought she would never take.
My brother and my little sister and I were all put in foster care.
A former foster child, living in a motel.
Here is our kitchen.
In a single room with her grandparents.
We don't have a whole lot of room, but we make the best of the space we've got.
She is tough. And maybe she might have got a little bit of that toughness from living right here.
From trying to survive along East Colfax Avenue in Denver.
I knew a couple of girls that were 12 and 13 and they were prostituting, and I didn't understand.
The drug dealers, the pimps, the hookers, this is what that is. And you don't want to be that.
Trapped on Colfax.
Her mom is the manager of the motel, which means she's not doing real great.
You don't want to get stuck in this. You want to start out and just keep going. Because once you get in, it doesn't matter how old you are, it's hard to get back out.
Especially.
I was not the first person in my family to have a baby at 15.
A teen mom growing up on the tough streets. She gave her baby up for adoption and decided there was only one thing she could do.
I'm going to be the one person to finally jump out.
You saw where we live. This is not where she wants to be.
We always told her, though, if you don't want to end up where we all are, college is the way to go.
Most people in this situation aren't going to college. They're not graduating. You're lucky if they're even in school.
Brianna focused and finished with strong grades at George Washington High School.
If I stay here, I won't be able to even help me. So I knew I had to get out and do something and make something of myself.
That's why she's taking this trip.
We are heading out at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
From Colfax to college, Brianna found her escape, not in Nevada, but in Nevada, Missouri.
I had my window open and I was like, oh my God, it's the smell of rain and mud.
She's attending classes at Cody College, a small all-women's school where Brianna's biggest concern are polyatomic ions and periodic tables instead of pimps and hookers.
There's a lot of space here. And I can walk outside and not worry about someone trying to pick me up.
Or worry about her next meal.
Oh, I love the food. Food is great.
She's surrounded by friends.
Yay!
Instead of drug dealers. Brianna says her road to Cody College would not have been made possible if it wasn't for an unlikely ally, the family that adopted her daughter. In the interest of privacy, they did not want to talk to us on camera, but Brianna says they changed her life.
And of all the ways to hear about it, my daughter's adoptive family, I just didn't see it coming.
The family had ties to Cody College. They also hired an advisor for Brianna to help her get grants and scholarships to attend school.
That's just amazing. She found the right family.
A family that decided to care about Brianna.
They didn't have to, but they do, and that means so much. I don't even know where to begin.
It began with a trip she never thought she would take.
A year ago, I never would have thought that of all places I would be in the middle of Missouri.
Away from her hard life. She still has some concerns.
The humidity sucks, but it makes nature look good. The only thing I worry about here is stray animals. The chapel's slightly irritating every hour, half hour. Speaking of,
Finally, Brianna feels she's making her way
thank you. No problem.
off of Colfax Avenue.
I definitely don't miss Colfax, any part of it.
With photojournalist
I hated that street.
Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
It's been said the only cure for snoring is insomnia. It's 5 a.m. on a recent Wednesday morning. In the doorway of a women's clothing store on the 16th Street Mall in Denver, Diana Suarez only got 4.5 hours of sleep.
Right now, these two are trying to be annoying to make sure I'm awake.
Suarez does not own an alarm clock. Who needs one? Where the downtown business owners pay people to make sure the streets are clean.
The public has had enough of it.
As it turns out, many of them want to scrub deeper. Just 8 hours earlier, behind Rockmount Ranch where
I've found needles, syringes.
owner Steve Weil stepped into his alley you could smell just off the mall.
You walk near here and the stench is overpowering. It smells like urine. And we have power washed this many times.
Like dozens of business owners, he says Denver needs a law to keep people from camping where people should be sleeping indoors.
We do not need to be a haven for people breaking social norms and the law.
But people like Suarez have never cared much for what's normal. For 3 months, she's been sleeping in the door jamb of a place where many women love to shop. But there's no way she says she can, or even wants to, afford what's inside.
This is how we lived all the time. We didn't have houses. We didn't have all these clothes, you know. We were nomadic.
She says she's tried to find real housing. She's tried the shelters, but gave up.
Being in a shelter with so many people is rather hard to deal with.
Apparently, the shelters were no place for 51 other people who slept on the mall on this night. One man even used 4 rolls of real soft brand toilet paper to cushion the hard reality below.
On any given night, there are about 200 to 400 people who are not able to get into shelters.
Those who help the homeless say a camping ban only forces people farther into the shadows.
It basically criminalizes the act of being homeless, even though the city recognizes that there aren't those alternatives for people to be.
It does not make being homeless illegal, but it does draw attention to the fact that there are individuals who need assistance.
Those who work with downtown businesses say a law motivates people who may not choose to look for help.
There will be repercussions for not taking advantage of services when they're available.
It's a dangerous place to be. I'm from Minneapolis, and we don't have anything like this.
As people come here, take a look around and wonder what's happening.
I'd expect it in San Francisco. I didn't expect it in Denver.
Those on the streets wonder what will happen to them.
They want to force us out into the other counties or cities.
Somehow you gotta find a way to help these people.
If the cops really start to crack down, then we either all go to jail or we go somewhere else.
With more restless nights in the months ahead, Diana Suarez is awake for another day.
The world has another day to screw up more than it usually does.
With photojournalist
If I can deal with being out here, I can deal with anything.
Matt Fleener, 9 News.